Email marketing platforms. How do you pick the right one for your coaching business from the myriad of platforms that are out there? When it comes to systems and platforms that support your coaching business, there are three main criteria to look at, and that's price, usability, and functionality. It's rare to find a platform that ticks all three boxes, but today we are walking through ConvertKit, which comes pretty close. If you're still on the fence about having an email marketing platform in your coaching business, let me help you with that decision. You absolutely need one. Changes in email delivery that Google and Yahoo rolled out in February to anti-spam laws are just a few of the reasons for having your platform in place, and there are many others. In this vlog, I am walking you through the ConvertKit platform so that you can get a feel for whether this platform might be right for you. Plus, I'll be highlighting some of the automation tools that will save you valuable time while nurturing your potential and current clients. Let's get into it. Welcome, coaches. I'm Jackie Appleby, online business manager, business coach, and your guide on this journey towards not just building a successful coaching business, but creating a transformative one. You want to grow your coaching business while leading your best life, and I share tips, tricks, and strategies to make that dream achievable. With years of experience in the coaching industry, I've helped countless coaches move from chaotic and overwhelmed to calm and thriving using my Coach to CEO framework. So if you feel like it's time to fish or cut bait, you are in the right place, my friend. Let's hop over to the ConvertKit platform so you can see firsthand how it all works. Okay, so here we are in the ConvertKit kind of dashboard, I guess. This is under the subscribers area. So this is where you'll come into when you log in. This has some basic information. So the first thing to be aware of is that most email marketing platforms are very similar in their functionality and what they can do. It's just that you'll find that their tools are in different places and sometimes they're called different things. So in ConvertKit, you have these areas at the top, and under the Grow section, we have subscribers, which is what we're in now. So this is where you can see who has signed up, who you've lost, and a list of your subscribers. And then you also from here can go to landing pages and forms, create a profile, and recommendations. So we're not going to spend too much time in the subscriber area because I want to show you more of the functionality. But basically, there's some different tools here that you can use, and you can change the dates so that you can keep track of who's coming in and who's going out and your average open rate and all of these stats that are really important to monitor. And I'll probably talk about those in a different video about tracking analytics. Anyway, one of the things about ConvertKit is it's really easy to use in terms of designing things. However, it does have some disadvantages in that the actual design capabilities are not as good as some of the others. So it'll look great, but you may have to upload some of your own images and graphics rather than creating them in ConvertKit itself. And I'll show you what I mean. So one of the areas that you'll use regularly is the landing pages and forms. So this is how your subscribers will get into your ConvertKit platform. They'll either fill in a form or they'll go to a landing page that you've set up that may have a form on it. And so ConvertKit comes with a whole bunch of templates that you can use to set up and to create and make your own. So we're going to have a little look at some of those so you can see the functionality. So we're going to go here to create new. And then you have the choice of doing a form or a landing page. So let's go for a form. These are what you'll use most often and can be embedded into various other places. So you can create a form here and then go embed it on your website or in other places that are important. So the first thing you'll have a choice of is how you want the form to display when you go and embed it. So do you want it inline, so in the middle of a page? Do you want it to be modal, which means that you know how when you go onto somebody's website and you get that pop-up box that comes up that says sign up for our newsletter, that's a modal. Slide in, similar to a modal, but you'll be scrolling through somebody's page and you'll see that box kind of slide in to say sign up for something. That's the slide in functionality. And then you have the sticky bar. So this will sit right at the top on every page that you choose to put it on and won't go away. So it just kind of sits there. So the most common is an inline. People like to put these, it gives you a bit more freedom around where you put it on your page. So we'll go into the inline, and here you can see these are the templates that ConvertKit provides you. Really easy to get started. This Charlotte one is one of my favorite. It's super easy to use, but there are some restrictions in where you place things and what you put on. So you can put a image in. So this would be where you may create an image outside of ConvertKit. Maybe you'll create a graphic that has some of your branding and stuff in a platform like Canva, and then bring it over to ConvertKit to go in here. You can change out this wording to whatever you want, and you can change font colors and the font weight and stuff like that, but limited on what you can do here. So it's just text. And then here is the information that you're going to capture. So right now it comes with just email address. I always suggest putting in a second field of first name at least. Some people like to gather last name as well. That's entirely up to you. You don't have to. ConvertKit typically only collects first name and email address, but it can be beneficial to have the last name too, especially when you've got people with the same first name. So it just helps you to distinguish them. So you can add fields in, you can change the color and do all of these things. And then you can also just drag and drop to move the order of these fields. And you have the option to add some more in there. And then this button text, you can change to whatever you want. So you can change out the text, you can change out the font color, the font background, you can change the radius, which is whether it's round or square. You can see the corners coming in there with the radius changed, and again, the font. And then if you're a paid member, you can actually untick this, so it takes it off that it was built with ConvertKit. So you would do all of your changes in here, and then you would grab, so when you're happy with everything, you can save it and then publish it. So when you publish it, you have a number of different ways you can grab this information. So there's JavaScript, there's HTML, you can share. This is the direct link to the form. So if you just want to share the form with somebody, you can give them this link. Here is the WordPress. If you're using the WordPress plugin, you can just grab this form ID and it will pull that in. Unbounce is another platform for integrating with ConvertKit. So that would be what you take there. And then just regular, if you just want to embed it in your page, you can just add a code box if you're using WordPress and just copy the code and add that in. So that is how you would add a form. And then a landing page works very similar. So let's do create new here. And we're going to do a landing page. These are bigger. I find that the landing pages are really hard to, like the templates in ConvertKit are not the most robust. So you have to be really creative with how you get your information into certain things. So they do have some categories. The most common one is usually somebody wanting to set up a webinar landing page. So if you want people to register for a webinar, you can do that through ConvertKit. And these are what they consider webinar landing pages. And you can see that this top one really it does look like it. It's asking you to register, but some of these other ones are kind of I wouldn't have said that they were webinar, but you can tailor them. So again, it's the same thing as the forum. You choose the one that you want, and then you go in and make the changes to the text, to the image. You can change the image here again and all kinds of stuff. And if you know how to do custom CSS, there's a few other things that you can do in here. But basically, all of these boxes can be changed, but the layout cannot be changed. So you can't put anything else in down here. If you have a great big long piece of text that you want to put in here, it might come down beyond this side of the layout, and it can make it look a little bit unbalanced. So there is a lot of playing around to do in ConvertKit as far as trying to get it looking aesthetically pleasing and adding in your brand elements. But overall, ConvertKit is by far the easiest platform that I've used to put together some of these things. And if you don't want to worry too much about the aesthetics, about the design and the layout, you can create something very easily in ConvertKit that's going to get you what you need to get people signed up. And that's the most important thing with our email marketing system is we want to make it easy for people to sign up, to get on our list so that we can continue to communicate with them. So the landing page and the forums are the two ways that you would use to get people into your lists so that you can start communicating with them. So let's take a look at how we do those communications. And again, as I said, most email marketing platforms have very similar functionality. It's just that they're in different places and they are called different things. So when it comes to sending email marketing messages, one of the things that you want to be aware of is the different functions that an email can go out via. And what I mean by that is if we come up here to the send, you'll see that we have broadcasts and sequences. Email templates and snippets are tools that you can use to help you create content, help you create emails quicker. So having email templates is something that I recommend, especially if you're doing something like a newsletter that has the same layout every time and you're just changing content. You can set that up ahead of time in the email templates and then just reuse. And snippets are similar, but they're actually snippets of content that you use again and again that you can pull into different things. So let's talk about broadcasts and sequences. You may have heard these terms before. Most email platforms use these terms, and they are both the ability to send an email to your audience, but they do work in different ways. So a broadcast is used generally when you need to send a communication on a specific day. So this is typically what you would use for your email marketing newsletters, if they go out weekly, if they go out monthly, quarterly, however you do them, because they are going out on a set day. They're like one and done. So anybody that's on your list at that day will get the broadcast if you're targeting them. Anybody who has not yet joined your list or your segment won't get it on that day. And it won't happen again because your broadcast is going out on a specific day. So that's something to be very aware of, is if you want to send something on a specific day, then broadcasts are the way to go. If you want to send an email to somebody who has performed a specific action and you're not worried about what day it goes out on, but you want it to happen after a certain action has taken place, that's when you need to use a sequence. So sequences are triggered by an event, and then you set the time that they go out. It's not a specific day, but it is in a specific interval. So for instance, if someone signs up for your free lead magnet and they fill out your form, you would set up some triggers in the back end, which I'll show you in a minute, and a sequence that will go out to that person once they have signed up for the form. So it could be something like they sign up for your free item, and then after one day, you send an email out that has the free item included. And then 3 days after that, you send another email that follows up to us and what they thought of the free item and how they were using it. And that's how you start to build a sequence that is automated. So what will happen is when you have people joining your list and signing up for things, they will all be at a different stage in the sequence. So they won't get their email on the same day as somebody who signed up 2 days before them. They will always get all of the emails that are in the sequence. So unlike a broadcast that if they weren't on the list, they won't get it at that time. When you design a sequence, anybody coming in new will always get that first email and then that second email and then that third email. So the distinction is if you want an email to go out on a certain date, you need a broadcast. If you want an email to go out after a certain action has been taken, then you need a sequence. So that's how we distinguish the difference between the two. And they're super easy to set up. Again, in broadcasts, you just go into a new broadcast, gives you a nice blank page. I already have templates set up, so it will pull through. This is my kind of default one. And then if I want to change it to, and you can see it's got all of my logo in here and my signature already set to go. And then if I want to change the template over, I just go here to browse templates. And I've got some various other ones that have already been built out and I can just flip to those. So we'll flip over to this one, which is my newsletter template. And you'll see I just added the heading in. And then you can come in here, and anywhere this plus button is where you can start adding content. And there's different types of content that you can put in ConvertKit. So you can add a paragraph, which is your text. You've got headers, you've got bulleted lists, numbered lists, block quotes, personalizations, buttons, which are really nice. So you can, rather than just having a link at the bottom that's some text, you can actually put a really nice, powerful button in that says, the call to action, click here, register now, and you can make it all branded. Recommendations. So ConvertKit works very heavily with creators. They're very into supporting people like artists and people that are more on the creative side. And so they have a whole platform for creators to come together and connect and recommend each other and all of that kind of thing. So that's what the recommendation is. You can add a product. So if you want to sell things on ConvertKit, you can. So you can sell things like a video series, if that's a paid product that you have. Or if you have actual physical items, you can sell those through ConvertKit. So you would create a product ahead of time, and then you'd be able to drop that in. So you have all these different things that you can put in, and then you have some content, layouts, some snippets, and then here are your media items. So if you want to add an image, you can, a file, video, a gallery. They've got all kinds of different tools here. And if you know how to do HTML and CSS, you can also add a HTML box in there and get that working for you. Okay, so that is how you would put together a broadcast. Fairly straightforward. If we hop over to the sequences, and you can see some of the sequences that I've got going on here. You can make these as easy or as complicated as you want to. So you would just set up a new sequence. It'll ask you to choose a template. So if you have just a regularly branded one, or if it's for a specific campaign, so maybe you're doing something for a specific product and that has its own logo, you can put all of that in here. Now it's just like sending a broadcast. You are literally writing an email. So you're going to put your compelling subject in. You're going to go in here in the same way and add all the information that you need to add. But here's where it gets different. So you can send this email after one day, and you can pick any increment that you want in there. Then you need to turn it on. So this, as you can see, is the sequencing in ConvertKit is very much to do with how many days between interactions. Now there's other automations, which I'll show you in a minute, because that's where it starts to get a little bit more complicated. But for a basic sequence, all you need to do is decide when you want the first one to go, when you want the second one to go. So most people usually have, after one day, this is after the last email is where it's counting from. So you would either start with 0 or day 1. You want to get something out to them fairly quickly. And then after that, a lot of people do like the 3, 5, 7 gap. There's no right and wrong in terms of gap and how often you want to communicate with your audience. It really depends on the content that you're putting in and if there's a sense of urgency around it. So if you want them to take up a offer within 48 hours of signing up to your list, then you're going to send a couple emails within day 1 and day 2, that kind of thing. So fairly straightforward in terms of how you build out a sequence. And then when you've built out one, you'll save it. If you want to put a second one in, you just hit add email, and it gives you the same template, and you start building that out, and then you can switch the days over here. The styles button allows you to do a few different things. So you can click on that and it will take you to various different spaces. So here you can see that there's different things that you can access there. Fairly straightforward. And then when you're done, don't forget to name your sequence so you can easily find them. You know which one you've been working on. And then when you're done, it will just sit in your sequence area, and it will go out automatically when you connect it to the automations that need it. And so we're just going to hop into automations right now and take a look at those. So there's a couple different ways to do automations in ConvertKit. One is visual automations and the other one is rules. I'm going to do rules first because it's the easier of the two. So the rules really works like an if this, then that kind of a thing. So if this happens, then make this happen, right? So let's have a look at one that I've already done. So this is when a user is tagged with my tag of lead unlock the path, then subscribe them to the coaching business companion tag. ConvertKit works based on tags more so than it does lists. So there are some email marketing platforms that will store all of your contacts in various different lists for different things. So if you have a lead magnet and they sign up for that, they'll go in the lead magnet list. If they signed up for your newsletter, they'll be in your newsletter list. If they signed up for a product, they'll be in your product list. That's how a lot of platforms work. ConvertKit only has one list, but it separates people by tags. So very similar to that. So if somebody signs up for a lead magnet in ConvertKit, you will tag them with the lead magnet tag. If they sign up for a product, you'll tag them with the lead magnet tag, with the product tag, and so on and so forth. When you come in here and do this, the automations here, the rules, you're basically working within the tags for the most part. There are other ways to trigger. So if we go in and add a new rule, you can see that these are all the different triggers. So when they subscribe to a sequence, when they subscribe to a form, when they complete a sequence, when they click on a link, when a tag is added, or when a tag is removed. So these are really awesome. So for things like if you send out an email, perhaps inviting them to a webinar, and they click on the link to the webinar, if you can then have an email go out to them that says, hey, you clicked on our webinar link, here's some more information, or however you want to set that up, right? So there's lots of different ways to make automation happen in ConvertKit based on rules. And then again, once you've decided on the trigger, you pop over here to the action and you can tell the system what you want it to do. So here's that. They clicked on a link, now subscribe them to a sequence, or now subscribe them to a different tag, or set a custom field if that's something that you want to do. So the rules are fairly straightforward. It's this is your trigger, then do this. And you may need to set up a couple of different rules in order to make lots of different things happen. So it could be, when they complete a form, add this tag, right, would be one of them. And then you could have another one that says, when this tag happens, send this sequence. So you may have to put a couple different rules in order to get people to where you want. So that's rules. And then the other piece is the visual automations, which are a little bit more complicated. And you can see why they're called visual, because they really are quite, you can see exactly what's going on when you go in here. And this is where you can get a little bit more fancy with your automations, because ConvertKit has the ability to help you with going down different paths. So if they take one action, they go down this path. And if they take another action, they go down this path. And that's why you would more likely use a visual automation. Or if you have, when we looked at the rules and we talked about you might need a couple different things, if you've got like 4 or 5 different actions that need to happen, it may well be easier to lay them out in a visual automation. So we are going to do a new automation. And again, ConvertKit gives you a bunch of templates to choose from. From a coaching perspective, I haven't found any in here that work really well for coaches. So my recommendation is to start from scratch. So we'll do that. Again, you get the option to browse a template, or you can just start building. So that's what we're going to do. And then you get a choice of 4 at the top. So again, this is kind of like, how are people getting into this automation? Is it because they joined a forum? Is it because they had a tag added? Did they purchase something? Or was there a custom field that they filled out, which is something that ConvertKit allows you to add? So when they're filling in your form, maybe they put something in there about themselves. Maybe you asked a question around something that was important, and you can use that criteria to get them into an automation. So we are going to do is added to a tag, and then the tags are already set up. I've already set those up. So let's go in and just pick one that works for us. So let's say that they had signed up to attend my webinar. And so now I want to make sure that that when they have been tagged with that they are coming into this sequence or this automation that will do things for them after the event has happened. So we're going to add that as an event. So this is what's going to bring people into the automation. And now we get to add next steps. So in here, we get to choose between events. So when something specific happens, an action that we want ConvertKit to take, or a condition has been met. And, these can get really complicated. So I'm not going to go into them in great detail because it really depends on the individual using the platform and what you are trying to achieve. But there is a lot of good things that you can do in here from an automation standpoint. The easiest one that I'm going to demonstrate is the action. So basically, somebody has come into the automation. They have the tag on them for the 4 Reasons webinar, and I want to send them an email sequence now that they've got that tag, right? So the action I would pick here is the email sequence. And then where we went into that sequence just now, and I showed you how to build that up, now you would pick it and add it. So we're gonna just pick this one and add the action. So now anyone that comes in here that has this tag will automatically get this sequence. They'll go in at the top and they'll start getting those emails rolled out automatically. So at this point, it's very similar to the rules because you can set the same process up in the rules. When somebody is tagged with this, add them to this, right? So that's all we've done in the automation. It's just a little bit easier to see it. And then if you want other things to happen as well. So that's when you can get into the decision making, right? So maybe they are receiving your sequence and you have something like a date occurs or they purchase a product. So perhaps they signed up for your webinar. You've sent them a nurturing sequence that says, come buy my coaching package, right? And you have that set up on ConvertKit maybe. So now you can put in here that when they're in this exploration call, if they then purchase a product, and I don't have any set up, so you can't see that's another step that is taken. And then you can just keep building and building and building. So you can set things up that ensure that things go out to people based on actions that they're taking with the information that you're sending them out. So maybe they have clicked on a link, maybe they have signed up for something else, maybe they have hopped onto one of your exploration calls. And you don't want them to continue on in the sequence because they've now taken action. So that's when you can start to move people out and have them go in different places depending on what they're doing. So very action oriented. That's what this is for, is when your subscribers take certain actions with your content, you can then have different content go out to them. And that's kind of the point of it. But like I said, it can be very robust and you can build in a lot of automation. There's a lot of different tools in here. So ConvertKit has some other tools if you also want to use those. Under the Earn, here's where you would set up your products. You also have tip jars that you can use as a way for your audience to send you a tip for your content. So if I know a lot of people do a paid newsletter now, ConvertKit gives you the option of sending that newsletter out free. But if people are finding value in it, they have an opportunity to tip you. And then, as I mentioned earlier, they do have the creator network where you can actually connect with other creators. You can recommend each other's content to your readers and you can get paid from those things. And here you can see any payouts. So this is all about earning money in this section. And then ConvertKit do a really good job of teaching you how to use their products. So they have documentation, they have a great community, but they also have Creator University where they will take you through courses free of charge, so you can access these at any time and learn how to use the system more in depth. And not just the system, but they also teach you, kind of general marketing processes and how you could pick up things and then bring them into your ConvertKit system. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this video. I really just wanted to give you a high-level overview of what ConvertKit looks like on the inside, the kinds of things that you can do as a coach within this platform, and also kind of go over some of the language that you may have heard from other platforms. As I've said, ConvertKit and all email marketing platforms they have very similar functionality. They will all send emails, they will all do broadcasts, they will all do sequences. The level of automation is going to vary from platform to platform and the different triggers. So that's where you need to shop around and find the one that's going to have the things that you need in the system so that you can do the things that you want. But for the most part, every coach should have an email marketing system. Every coach should have a list of people who are interested in receiving your information, where you're able to provide value, demonstrate what it is that you can help them with and stay in touch with people. And for that, you need a system that allows you to be able to send broadcasts, so newsletters and other emails that go out on certain dates. And you also need a system that will allow you to send sequences so that when they take certain actions, you can send them certain information. And ConvertKit, in all honesty, is it's one of the lowest paid on cost. So I'm on one of the basic levels. I pay around $11 a month. That gets me 300 subscribers, which is perfect for where I am right now. It does go up from there. There's like a 20-something dollar one that will give you more subscribers. So it will grow with you, as I mentioned. And it will do the things that you need it to do on a very basic level. It also integrates with a lot of software. And the fact that there is a plugin, if you are a WordPress user, if your website is built on WordPress, ConvertKit plugs in very easily to your website. But that's pretty much it for the overview. I hope you found this video helpful. I'd love to hear your feedback on, what you thought of the system. If you have any questions, if there's something about email marketing that you're stuck on or that's holding you back, just pop it in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer that for you. And until next time, take care and I'll see you in another video soon. Thanks for tuning in. I know this was a little long, but it's important for you to see the features that will help you grow and manage your email list. If you found this walkthrough helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. And leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time.